A Super Bowl champion.
The Green Bay Packers have won the Super Bowl.
The Packers' all-time leading scorer.
A game winner for Mason Crosby.
It's time for the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nellis on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook and on the free Odyssey app.
High noon and welcome in. This is the Mason Crosby Show. I'm Mitch Nellis. He's Tommy Wirtz. Doc Rivers is gone. Chris McIntosh is gone. Dontavian Wicks is gone. Rory is the champion. The Brewers stink. Christian Yelich is on the injured list. But guess who's back? Back again. Mason's back. Tell a friend. The kicker, Mason Crosby, is here. Mace, what's up, brother?
Oh, good to be back, boys. Yeah, I was joking with y'all before the show that I played all those years in Green Bay, didn't miss a game, but Molly goes and gets hurt, and I miss 4 days of work, with Molly down and out. But
Mr. Mom, baby, Mr. Mom, let's go.
So a lot changed from what was crazy is I took those days off. I had planned things that were going on. Things shifted. So Molly's surgery ended up being on Wednesday, as she went and did the stuff. So I canceled my golf trip, took care of her, went to Birmingham, got the surgery. Dr. Andrews, sports therapy or orthopedics down there in Birmingham, did an awesome job. And then just a caregiver now. I'm just here. I'm just here to give care to all people. My question to you two though is: have they officially changed our station to the Tommy Wirtz station yet? Has that happened or
not yet? I'm waiting for it.
They basically have.
Okay, yeah. I mean,
Mason, you don't even know what's coming. Mason,
everything.
You don't know.
Mason,
no.
There's more.
No, it's. I forgot.
There's more of TK.
Mason doesn't even know.
We can't tell you on air. We can't tell you on air.
Right.
But I will send it to you in the first break.
Tease for everyone listening on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, whether you're in Milwaukee or Green Bay or Wausau or Duluth or Superior, or on the Odyssey app or on the iHeart app or listening on Spotify or listening wherever you listen to your podcast.
Or watching on YouTube.
Watching on Twitter. There is more coming, and we are all here for it.
I may be going somewhere no Cudahy man has ever gone before. I mean,
nice.
That's the tease, but it's really
not north of Milwaukee or where?
No.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't even think it is going north. I think it's staying in Milwaukee. But it is. I'm never gonna beat the allegations of being big time. It's just not gonna happen.
Right.
So, but it's good to have you back, and everything happened in between.
Seriously.
Right there.
Nothing happened. Did anything happen while I was gone? I mean, last week was just a nice, calm week. Nothing, nothing crazy happened.
Yesterday, no breaking news over the weekend.
Yeah.
So Mason, we have a rundown, and we could go in order of the rundown, or you could. I mean, it's like this is honestly like a blank easel, and whatever paints you want to start painting the Mason Crosby with show today. Like, if you want to go Doc Rivers, if you want to go Chris McIntosh, if you want to go Christian Yelich, and some guy we've never heard of before getting called up by the Brewers just now, Greg Jones.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
There's a lot going on.
I do want to go Doc Rivers first because I want to ask, and I'm just a little confused. I thought things were going really well. Like, what happened? Why did this happen, Mitch?
So mean.
You're our basketball insider, so tell me why is Doc Rivers no longer going to be the coach of the Milwaukee Bucks? What happened there?
Because he is absolutely a putrid, horrible, awful NBA coach, and he has sucked for years and years and years. The Bucks made a huge mistake when they hired him. It was a colossal error. They brought him in to be like an unofficial advisor to Adrian Griffin. The players revolted, even though Griffin was 30-13. Griffin probably wasn't the answer based on everything we've heard about from the Bucks, but he was 30-13. And Doc was under 500. Doc is an absolute joke, wrong guy as the head coach. And I know and he's not fully to blame. Listen, Horst made mistakes. The ownership has made mistakes. Giannis made mistakes. Giannis, Middleton, and Dame never played a playoff game together healthy. All those are contributors, but Doc sucked, had to go. Thank God. And as we said yesterday in Wisconsin, ding dong, the witch is dead.
Yeah, and from different things I've been reading and looking at, that locker room obviously had turned. There were players, like, confidential just meetings in the locker room. It seems like that Cam Thomas and him, like there was no love lost there. And the stats thing, like once you start going at your players, trying to as a coach, talk about your playing days, or I have stats too and all that, or you've definitely lost the room.
Or your previous coaching jobs.
Or
exactly. Like it's great that
trying
you
to validate yourself
18 years ago. Like that's great that you want to. Well, when McCarthy came out and said, well, I'm a highly successful NFL coach. I mean, the second he said that in a press conference, we all knew it was over for McCarthy.
Could you imagine?
It was moving the wrong direction.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Could you imagine if Matt LaFleur just said, or Mike McCarthy, like you're in that locker room, Mason, and a coach just says, like, Google me? Like with the reaction from players.
It's over at that point. Right? Yeah. You're just like, all right, well, this guy's no longer has the room. We're not gonna play for him.
What if Bill Belichick did that at UNC? Would that play though?
I don't like.
He wouldn't say it though.
No, I just don't think he'd. Yeah, he'd just say like, "Listen to me, because I know better." Like,
right.
Once you start telling people look you up and like figure it out and all that, like you're grasping at straws and you've lost that room.
Right.
Already.
You're basically saying I've done nothing to earn your respect.
Exactly.
So you need to respect me because of what I've done in the
past.
past.
Look at what I've done. That's a great point. Yeah, exactly.
Did you guys see Bobby Portis on Run It Back yesterday with Michelle Beadle, Chandler Parsons, Lou Williams?
They love the Bucs, right? They've been having everybody on.
They had Bobby Portis on yesterday and asked him about the departure of Bucs head coach Doc Rivers, and Bobby said he kind of found out when everyone else found out.
So I got the news when everybody else got the news. The game ended on Sunday, and I got on bus 1. Normally, I'm always on bus 3, but, it's the last game of the year. I'm ready to get back to the crib, get in my own, bubble right here and just, get a mental lapse from everything. You know what I'm saying? Just decompress from the season. It's been a long, I want to say stressful, but just up and down roller coaster for us all year. So I was ready to get to the crib. I got on bus 1, and normally I'm on bus 3. And about 5 minutes on the bus, the news came through. It was very shocking that it happened so fast, and we ain't even left Philly yet. You feel me? So
no speech or anything. He didn't talk to you guys, or was he on that bus too? Like what?
That's what.
Yeah, like I don't even know where
he's on the bus.
But, Doc's the side Nara.
Yeah.
He's already on a plane.
But it was just kind of awkward. Just obviously we, what I'm saying, the season has been up and down, and obviously we just lost. The season just ended. Most of the time, things happen the next day or a couple of days after that. But I think it was kind of awkward for us just that it happened at that moment.
Is that par for the course with this Bucs team, or is that
feels like a Cleveland Browns Jimmy Haslam? It feels like this type of ownership group where you don't in the season, like you don't have a plan. It's just like an emotional, or like it's just all right, you're fired, like figure it out. Or do you ride back if you're Doc Rivers? I would. I'd be like, yeah, I'm getting a free flight back. Of
course you fly back,
or send me back on a private plane. You're going to take care of me. Like you can't just fire me on the road here. This is ridiculous.
Well, you can fire him, but you're still giving him a ride back home.
You can't just leave me.
Well,
you can't just not
and
take
he's
care
still,
of me.
and he's still getting $10 million next year. So
he's under
or tomorrow. I mean, they might write him the check tomorrow and just be done with him. I mean, but nothing there's surprising. Like Bobby to say, oh, I was on the bus and that's when we found out. Like that's when we all found out. Like it happened so immediately. Like Doc has his press conference, and within 5 minutes, it's over. That's it. Like it's not like there was time for a team meeting. They're not gonna communicate this. Like it's over.
Well,
but again, that's the miss in my mind as well, though, where if say you're looking inside the building for maybe the next head coach, right? Because we're thinking the next head coach might be in the building.
Could be Darvin Ham. He's in the mix
on the bench. So, but it's like, why? If this was even a thought in your mind, why not do it earlier? Why not like kind of run this down the last part of the season, see if you can get somebody to motivate and get these players to go in? I was looking at that. Didn't we expect? Like, I think after last season, we were saying Boston Celtics are probably going to have a rebuild year, right?
Yes.
Like, it's like that team, Tatum's like out for
most of the year. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like that team was not the team that we thought was going to be successful. And then they go and they're the second in the East. Like, and they are just like they find a way
to get to the finals.
Talk about, yeah. I mean, you gotta look at that, and that's purely coaching, getting your guys to do like the little things and be championship caliber organizationally, right? Molly and I were talking about that a lot, like just kind of this championship mindset.
Yep.
And it happens every day. You go in this process, you do this work. So my next question then too is then like, who are the Bucks going to get? Who is going to be that guy that is going to bring them back into a championship caliber program? And is that going to be without Giannis as well? Right. So,
yeah. I mean, there's so many questions, obviously Darvin Ham and Taylor Jenkins, former coach of the Memphis Grizzlies, are the first two names that popped up. But, we had Camille on yesterday, and the hope is that they have a wide search. They talk to everybody and they make the right decision. And we don't know, is it a different, the draft lottery is May 10th. The draft isn't until the end of June. But the lottery, we'll know which pick the Hawks get and which pick the Bucks get after May 10th. And I think that's when we'll also see, did the Miami Heat qualify for the playoffs? Did the Golden State Warriors qualify for the playoffs? At some point, we'll find out, like, did the Spurs underperform in the playoffs? And if those things happen, who do the Bucks talk to about Giannis? And based on where they're picking, maybe that could be a different coach based on, are you bringing Giannis and trying to make one last run happen? Or are you really going young with a rebuild and draft picks? And then that's a different coach. And I think, like, that would make sense, but I don't trust the Bucks ownership to do anything smart.
Yeah, and I look back, the rumors, if it's true or not, it seems like I've seen it enough that it might be like the Miami Heat deal. Wasn't it Miami Heat, with Tyler Hero? And do you think at this point now, do you think the deal for Giannis is going to be that good or better? Or do you think that was a deal they should have probably taken if they're going to trade him off anyways now?
I think it's going to be that good or better. I think I predicted on the show yesterday.
You think it hasn't hurt him? No. He's still gonna get
whether it's the Heat or the Warriors or other. I think the Warriors are the 10 seed, so they're probably not going to get into the playoffs. The Heat are probably not going to get into the playoffs. But I think they both believe that they had Giannis, even for the parts that they'd have to trade, that they all of a sudden jump into the top 4 in their conference.
For sure.
Golden State making one last run with Steph and Giannis, Miami with Giannis and Bam and whatever that might look like. And I think those offers will still be there. We're just not exactly sure what that looks like today. I know Tommy yesterday said he predicted the Warriors. I predicted the Heat. And honestly, after what he said on Sunday, a lot of people are not predicting Giannis is staying. That it's out of his control. It's not up to him, which is like, come on, dude. Like,
yeah.
Do we
just
believe
say
that?
I want to be gone. And I'm not going to sign the max extension. Like, they're probably going to move on. Right. That's he does have some control there. I think in my heart and mind, I'd like to see it. If he goes somewhere, I'd like to see him with Steph out there at Golden State.
That would be cool.
Just see what they can do. Like, can that be as special as it looks like it could be on paper? But Steph's been hurt quite a bit recently. Giannis keeps getting hurt. He was hurt a lot this year. Like, if they trade for Giannis and then those two don't get to play together as much as you'd hope, then I think everyone's going to be pretty disappointed with that.
I have breaking news that only Mason Crosby cares about and no one else cares about.
I see it.
Because we love Mason.
Commitment to Colorado.
Yeah, Andre Adams, 4-star quarterback, dual threat from Antioch, is committed to Colorado. So Dion is not done yet.
Antioch right here in Tennessee.
There you go. Yeah. Tennessee, I don't know. I assume Tennessee was recruiting him. I assume
you would think.
Vandy, I assume, SEC teams.
4-star, yeah. So
commits to Colorado, not to take too much of a diversion from the Bucks and all the things we have on our list today. But when something happens in Mason's personal life that affects his joy, like we need to bring it up, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Especially whenever I'm coaching there someday. So that's
exactly. Are you full dad season right now?
Oh, I'm full.
Are you dived in up to your knees in it?
Dude, this weekend was crazy. This weekend was bananas. Like, I left at 6:00 on Saturday morning and didn't stop going places until about 8 that night. Nolan had 2 soccer games. We had all these other, I think we had like a birthday party, all these things. I'm just like dropping kids. And then we reloaded on Sunday and did the exact same thing. So
I watch
Sunday,
the Masters.
I did. I had my earpiece in. I was on the phone, watching the games, had the Masters, listening in, and then I recorded it on Sunday. So got in at about 4:00 Sunday afternoon, and kind of fast forward, and I got to see it a little quicker speed, but gosh, I thought Scheffler was coming.
That shot on 17, right, Tommy?
If that would have fell, that would have been awesome. And I know Mason roots for not Americans in the Masters for Rory, but
there were no Canadians in it, so I didn't have anybody to root
no
for.
rooting interest. But Mason would love to see Rory or Justin Rose win every single tournament based on previous interactions.
You're the worst.
I actually.
How does our good buddy? I had Drew Wagner hit me on Twitter before the tournament.
Oh, did you really?
Watching anyone but Rory, so I haven't hit him back, but I want to just throw that out to Drew, who was on our show last year with all the Brewers stuff. Like, sorry, man. Rory's here to stay. That guy got it done on Sunday.
He did. It was cool to see him win back to back too. But again, I would rather Scotty win and Rory choke, like old time's sake. On top of that, I did want to ask just one more thing, going back to this Bucks conversation and Doc Rivers to you, Mason. Bobby's saying, Bobby talking about it really being almost blindsiding and awkward. I was wondering when McCarthy was getting out, how the locker room maybe felt during that process, before the process, and after that process, because it was Philbin for one game, right? That year,
I think 2.
Maybe it was 2 games. Was the writing on the wall in the locker room? Were there rumblings going on before that? And then once it happens, how does the locker room shift in a mid-season form, and then that off-season leading up to trying to get a new coach in that building?
Let's be real. Bobby, I mean, in his heart of heart, he knew that Doc was going to get relieved at the end of the season. I think his shock was like that it happened that quick after the game. Like while they're on the road, like going onto the bus and he hears about it. Like that's the shocking part. Whenever you're in a situation like that, unfortunately, I mean, the energy around it is kind of palpable. I mean, you can feel like, okay, if this happens, like coach is probably done, right? And you could just feel it happening. And so honestly, I've talked about this before. There was moments in 2012 where I was like, please release me. I'll go find another team. I just need out of this situation.
Yep.
I'm glad it didn't happen, but it's like
that Thunder guy's killing me on the radio.
Yeah, exactly.
Every day.
Thunder. And I know like 10-year-old Tommy's at his house, just, just dogging on me the whole time. But I think there is something where it's like, okay, like you can feel it. And it's like, this isn't going to get better, at times. And like, it's time to move in a direction. So you almost can like take a breath. And that's what happened, I think, whenever Coach McCarthy was let go. And then Philbin comes in. He's such a calming presence in a sense anyways. He did some things to try to like bring us together and know that like, hey, we're going to figure this out and we're going to move in a direction. But you can feel it. And then after it's just kind of like, gosh, like I love Coach McCarthy. He's my guy. He was like the coach that brought me in. He again stood by me in 2012 and through some tough times. So you never want to see it happen, but you knew that he was gonna move on to the next thing, and he was gonna do okay wherever he went, just because of the type of coach he is. Doc Rivers, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's his last. This is probably his last rodeo. You would think he'd be done after this.
Well,
right?
he did talk about wanting to play more with his grandkids and show up for grandparents' days.
Which he should.
And he's right. Yeah. He should. He's very
successful.
He's earned it. Yeah. And so we'll May 10th is the draft lottery. That's the next big day, and that will tell us a lot about the direction. If the Bucks do move up or if they stay where they are right now. The Pelicans are at 8. The Bucks are at 10. And of course the Hawks get the better of those 2 picks. The Bucks get the worse of those 2 picks. So if everything stays the same, the Bucks will draft 10th, which would lead me to believe that they would probably trade Giannis.
I do have some somewhat interesting news, maybe not breaking news, but interesting news.
Tommy, everything you say is interesting.
Adam McCalvey did delete his Christian Yelich tweet and
About Greg Jones?
Corresponding move tweet. So
Okay.
from what we just reported at the
Okay,
beginning,
we'll
it
keep an eye
was
on it.
it was Christian Yelich heading to the IL, Greg Jones being the corresponding move. That information not official by the Brewers, and Adam McCalvey of MLB.com deleted that post.
Yeah, no press release from the Brewers yet.
So I don't know. Just
so there's still
monitoring the situation.
Luis Lara, there's still Jefferson Cuero. We will keep our eye on that. We'll get to the Brewers later in the program as well. But coming up next, Mace, more news in the state of Wisconsin. Sometimes, as we talked to Tom Oates from the State Journal and longtime reporter here in Wisconsin, when the posse's getting ready, sometimes you skip town a little early. Did Chris McIntosh do that? We will discuss next. He's Mason Crosby, and he is back, and he's excited because the Colorado Buffaloes have a quarterback. He's Tommy Wirtz, and he's excited because he's big time. And I'm just Mitch Nellis. This is the Mason Crosby Show.
That's right.
is the Mason Crosby Show. My name is Mitch Nelson, a.k.a. Thunder. Tommy Wirtz is here. Mason Crosby is back. Hi, Mason. Oh, hold on.
Lots of news in that break. I'm like, I'm just stunned right now. I got a lot, going in my brain.
Are you going to be all right?
I am. I'm just like, I'm a proud uncle.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Just
are you marinating in the joy of just happiness that your eyes have seen the light? Like you're just like, you've seen everything now.
I've seen it all.
Yeah.
I feel really fulfilled. Unlike Scotty Scheffler, not fulfilled again this weekend.
No,
but I
was fulfilled. That's
Maybe
why
he
he
was
didn't win.
fulfilled, right?
Yeah, he's fulfilled because he didn't win.
He's
fulfilled. He
Yeah.
didn't win. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
okay.
Unfulfilled Scotty is a winner. Yeah.
Yeah.
I told you it was big news. It was weird. I have no idea what to do. I have no idea. I promise. I just show up, guys. I just try to be the guy.
Well, that's why great things happen to you. Yeah.
So I hear the words you're saying, Tommy, but I love you, brother. That's all. You are not the same person you were a year and a half ago. I'm just gonna say.
Hey, maybe he'll maybe
Not
Tommy
your
will
fault.
start giving NIL money to the Badgers. Maybe they'll accept it. Did you see that? Did you see the
Big Cat?
Big Cat?
Yeah, there's
what did he say?
I didn't bleep it.
Oh, you didn't
but,
see it?
Big Cat from Barstool
Yeah.
Sports. Pardon my take.
Badger and Chicago fan.
It is.
Yeah.
He is the biggest sports podcast out there, right? I mean, pardon my take.
Yeah.
Undeniably, just the popularity is through the roof. Big Cat evidently reached out to the University of Wisconsin
Yeah.
Okay.
to give NIL money,
Okay.
and he got ghosted.
They didn't.
Crazy.
Just didn't even reach back out or get a hold of him.
To his
figure it
words
out.
is they don't have their bleep together.
Well, we know that.
So
Right.
it wasn't even just that the Wisconsin Badgers cannot compete. It's that they don't know how to compete.
Yeah, they're like choosing not to.
Yes.
It's a choice.
Who did he call? I want to know. Like
He reached out to Wisconsin Athletics. I'll see if I can. I'll
what does that
bleep the
mean?
clip.
I mean,
in
a guy
there.
like that should be able to get McIntosh's number. I mean, he's
Mace,
in the space and all that. I mean, somebody will give.
If I have McIntosh's number, which I do, Big
You
Cat,
two are the big time ones.
Big Cat should have McIntosh's number.
Yeah, exactly.
And I want to know. Can I? I'll name names. I want to I kind of want to put Evan Cohen on this too. Evan Cohen, who does a national radio show on a competitor, and that's fact. I'm not sharing tales on it, but he's a Badger and a very proud Badger.
Yeah.
Like a huge sports fan, obviously, if he's doing sports radio as a career. I kind of want to put him on this same thing. Like, call the university and see what happens.
Yeah.
I don't know who else, I don't know if we want to talk to former athletes or current athletes in the NFL or in the NBA and just see what happens. Like Frank Kaminsky. Kaminsky, call the university, leave a message, see what happens.
Yeah.
I just want to see if this is is this a real
We've already
situation?
had situations, right? JJ Watt.
Right.
He's like, I didn't feel very welcome there.
Nope.
Like, I didn't feel like they wanted me to be a part of this. So that kind of stuff is, I mean, guys respond poorly to that. From
As they
experience,
should.
like you give a lot of time, you have a lot of energy, you have a successful career. You don't need a lot of love, but you want a little love. And you want to just feel like, hey, we want you to be a part of this.
Well,
how can we make that happen?
Well, Mason, I'm gonna put you on the spot right now.
It's a sales job. The
Right.
AD is it's a sales job.
It is now. Mason, have you given money to the University of Colorado NIL fund?
I have not.
Okay. Have you been asked?
No, not directly.
So that's a failure by the university.
yeah.
Yes, it'd be nice. I'm sure they're saying, oh, it'd be nice if our alum who played in the NFL, if they called
Would
up
give it, yeah.
and would give it. But if someone asked you, as someone who has worked in fundraising before, the number one reason people don't give is they're not asked.
Exactly.
If someone called you up and took you through the process and explained how it worked, you'd probably give some money to the NIL fund at Colorado.
Sure.
But no one's asked you. That's crazy. You played in the NFL.
Yeah.
What? And so what are we doing wrong at the University of Wisconsin that we assume that not even making those calls, but Big Cat, and I don't know what Big Cat's net worth is.
Well,
I imagine it's not crazy.
It's millions.
Right, but it's probably a few million. It's probably
I get it.
He's not. He doesn't have $200 million.
Here is the clip from Pardon My Take.
A small piece of Wisconsin and all this stuff going on, but I've offered to pay NIL money and no one's followed up with me for like anything. Like multiple times asked, they just don't have theirs together. It's crazy. Like, and again, maybe they don't respect podcast money and they're like, oh, this guy doesn't, he can't pay us in Bored Apes. But you'd think that someone would follow up with me. Someone would be like, hey, you remember when you said you wanted to get money? I have said it to.
So it cuts off over there, but he says that he has brought it up to the football program specifically.
Well, that's what's crazy is he went to them,
right?
And they still ghosted him. Like
AI
there's no way they're reaching out to anyone else.
No, AI says he's probably worth about $10 million, which is a substantial amount of money.
Sure. If he wants to give $100K or $50K, like whatever, like
that's a lot of money to the NIL fund.
Sure, you're going to pay somebody something.
That's crazy.
Luke Fickell was asked also just today, earlier this morning. This comes from Evan Flood on Twitter. He was talking to Luke Fickell about the departure of Chris McIntosh.
Oh, okay. So you want to go backwards? Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. He was the guy who hired you, spoke out when things weren't going well last year. And back to just from a personal standpoint, his exit, how does that impact you? Do you think just moving forward?
It's not easy to lose a friend, right? I mean, we've all been through it in the past, so that's the difficult thing. That's a guy that you can visit with and sit down with. Not that I can't do that with Marcus, even some of the coaches on our staff, but anytime that there's things like that are changes that people were in your corner, it's always a little difficult. So. Disappointing, whatever you want to say, but and so is life. And so you got to be able to move and continue to go on. And like I tell my wife, like I got to develop relationships with 50-some new guys that are in this program. So at least you get a little bit of time that you're busy, developing those relationships. But it's always one of those things that losing a friend is not easy.
Yeah, losing a friend, not easy. Basically, your only friend in Madison, too, Luke Fickell.
The guy who's got your back.
Yeah.
Right.
But again, just with all of this, and to have a statement like that come from a guy like Big Cat, who, like we said, he's not a Fortune 500 CEO that is coming in to just say, blank check, get whoever you want. But still, just showing alumni activity, you would think would spark that from other alumni who maybe could, or a collective of let's just get a whole bunch of small donations instead of one big large donation.
Well, that's what they need to have. You got to have a whole program, I would think, like a whole department for this, where it's you got people just calling alumni, like just kind of base alumni, and then you target like bigger donors. And then the AD or somebody else goes to them specifically. I know that's what Colorado, Rick George has like stepped into more of that position, and they now have a new AD that is acting in that. But
Tommy, you should text Rick George today and be like, "Hey, Mason needs a call."
And McIntosh isn't even that old. I thought maybe he was. It's like I'm like he's 49 years old. I'm
Mitch
like
Nellis's class.
Hey, we were in accounting together. We took the accounting together. Yeah. No big deal.
It's like, is he? In my mind, I'm like, okay, like Rick George, he didn't want to chase that, like, and do that anymore. And I understand that. So you need like a young, and like I was talking to the new AD of Colorado when I went to the women's basketball game, and he was like, it is so, it's different than even when I got into it 5-10 years ago, where I am now I have to operate like this is a business, and I am like going and trying to grow the business and sell the product of Colorado athletics.
That's what it is.
And you are a salesperson now, and you're running a company.
Well, and so Chris McIntosh gets out, and maybe the writing was on the wall that he was going to be out after a year or whatever it is. But remember, he gave us this long-winded letter at the end of this past season, Mason, with all the confidence in Luke Fickell, with all the confidence in the program, and they found all this money. And now he gets to get out of Dodge before any of that has to really be acted upon. Yeah. Now, how much pressure is on the university to back up what McIntosh said a few months ago?
Do they have a general manager like
they do, but it's not like Damian Lillard is back at Weber State level of guy. It is some dude.
No, but it's probably somebody who's actually doing the job. It's not just a title.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. They do have. I'll look up the name of it,
Right.
but
Marcus Sedbury is kind of taking on the role.
Yeah.
There's I actually got an email from Eric, whatever the guy's name is, who's the interim chancellor, because today's for 414 day they're doing Day of the Badger, which kind of doesn't make sense because that should be June 8th, 6/8. 608 is the area code there. But like they're doing a fundraising push today, so I've gotten like 9 emails from the University of Wisconsin already. I haven't.
Well, that's another thing, Mitch. This university that is so poor apparently sends us an email every 6 months asking if we want to give money because we went there and set a whole bunch of money on fire to go there, and yet the Badger football team can't do that to all the NFL alumni and all the NBA alumni and all the NHL alumni that have come through that program. Like, what are you coming after a common man, dumb radio host like me or you, instead of like just going out and reaching out to Joe Thomas, who continues to stay in the area, continues to do radio hits all the time about the program, comes in and offers help for free, wasn't a coach on the staff, yet oh no, like we can't reach out to these people. And when we do reach out,
so weird.
Like it makes no sense that you're targeting accountants instead of NFL.
Well, again, you got to have like a marketing department in a sense for these types of.
They have a foundation,
and they need to. They need to come to
exists.
I know, and like it isn't like you are lighting your money on fire. I think a lot of these things, like it's I don't know how they're set up, but I would guess they would be almost like a fund.
Yep.
Where it's like an investment fund. And
they put it into it. And it's also passion, right? It's like you're supporting your passion.
You're supporting. People want to give back. So you have to have somebody directly reach out to these specific people and say, hey, like we want this thing to be great. Mm-hmm. Like we would love if you could give some money. But we also want you to be involved in any way possible. Like, how do we make that work? And then have some ideas too, because I know from my side of things, if someone's like, hey, if you come up with a few things, try to make this work. I'm like, I have 5 kids. I got a million other things I'm doing. Like, if you pitch me a couple things that sound good, then I can say, yeah, I'll do that.
Right.
And so you got to have some people in that space giving creative ideas on how people can get involved, whether it's money, whether it's Joe Thomas coming and be involved, trying to build a culture of championship football. Like all of those things are good and positive, and I think that is how you grow this thing and get that wheel rolling.
414-677-1250 is the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line. 414-677-1250. Still reacting to the news. Chris McIntosh, the new Deputy Commissioner of Strategy for the Big Ten Conference.
What a fake title, dude.
I mean, strategy's real, dude.
Yeah,
but people,
job.
Yep. And athletic director's open, chancellor's open, president of the system is open. Jeez. So who's taking? And that's
sure
another
they
thing.
need a new Bucky this year. That's a high priority as well in the mascot room. If anyone's interested,
they always have a new Bucky.
Yeah.
But the question is like, who takes the AD job before a chancellor gets named? Because how do you take a job not knowing who your boss is? Like when a coach reports to the GM, very rarely do you see a coach get hired before the GM gets hired.
You're going to be able to fire a coach and hire a new one in 7 games anyway, too. So it should be fun time.
Well,
get my guy Andy North in there. Let's go.
Yep. Rams on the north side of Milwaukee. Ram, what do you got for us today?
Hey, thanks for taking my call. What's going on, Mason?
What's up, Ram? Yeah, I know. I was out all last week. I hope you're good.
Man, y'all guys are doing a good job. I'm going to say this. I was living in Madison when Barry Alvarez started the Rose Club, and he came with dynamic ideals of getting alumni involved. And now you got to remember, Pat Richter was still there. He was still there he was still in the background. But the problem, and I'm just going to put this out to you guys, like, I think you got to have a personality type person to do this. That's a magnet. And when you think of, like, you mentioned Joe Thomas, when you think of the number of NFL players and NBA players that just come out to the university in the last 25 years, I can't see how difficult that is, unless a person is in their own way. Now, if you're in your own way with your ego, it's not going to work because you're going to probably not be that type of a business butterfly to get out and touch people. Because, and I can't see it being difficult. The one thing I will say about the Badger people is they travel well.
Oh,
like for their sports teams, I don't care where you playing, they travel well. And don't forget, Barry was the one that set up that piece where they used to go down to Nevada every year, some tournament they was playing in. I think it was for football. One was football, and something for basketball. So those trips, they'd be there for a whole week, and then a lot of Madison business people would be there. And then, you got Oscar Mayer headquarters right there. I mean, come on, man. Come on.
So Ram, your thought is they need a charismatic, dynamic person, but
like you, Mason.
I'm
not trying to give you another job.
No, but somebody that also can put their ego aside and go and be in a space with somebody and say, hey, we need you to come in here and be a part of this. Because I think that is the hardest part. You make it to that AD level, you got some ego, and it's a hard person to find somebody that can ascend to that level, but also kind of step aside and be like, hey, I'm going to elevate these people that are going to help us get success.
But look, you guys. I listen to you all the time. But just look at the number of championships that we have won in different sports. Just say over the last 20 years, and Final Four. So all the people that were involved with that would love to get back, like you said, if you ask them.
Right. They just need to be asked. Ram, thanks for the call. And Ram's right. Like the Badgers do travel well. The alumni are very well known. As Tommy, you said this yesterday, right? The most Fortune 500 CEOs of any major university in the country. University of Wisconsin has the most Fortune 500 CEOs than any other university.
Here's another guy that I think of that just exudes Wisconsin. Happy birthday yesterday. Melvin Gordon. He hasn't played in the NFL since 2023. Why is he not someone who's more involved in the program? The Badgers have 3 different guys who have made over $100 million playing in the NFL. They've had the highest paid center of all time until Linderbaum. They had Rick Wagner make $40 million. They have so many different options of it's not the Alabama or the Georgias of producing NFL talent all the way, but there are plenty of guys that could be the face of a program that could recruit in-state better, because we talked about that yesterday with Tom Oates on how I almost swore how terrible Luke Fickell has been at recruiting the state of Wisconsin. It wants to be this developmental program in an era of college football that refuses to let you be a developmental program anymore. They don't have the right people in charge. They don't have anyone in charge of the right people in charge. And they currently are still looking for people to be in charge during this entire process too.
Yeah. And I mean, you said it though, is I think the sports, the people that came through and played a sport there, should they should be asked to give money. They should be asked also to come back, to be involved in some way.
To be an ambassador.
Just an ambassador for the program. Be like, hey, let's figure out a way where you're continually growing what we're trying to do. And then, like you said, most CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, that's where you go get the deep money, right? Yep. Like you say, how can you get involved and back us with a company, back us with something large, an endowment type thing. And that is where the deep pockets come in.
Much more to talk about this Badger situation, just like there's a lot more to talk about the Bucs situation. But we've got to talk about the Brewers. We've got to talk about the Masters. We've got to talk about Dontavian Wicks. We've got plenty on our plate coming up on the Mason Crosby Show. This is the Mason Crosby Show. I'm Mitch Nellis. He's Tommy Wirtz. Mason, all in dad season. Our thoughts with Molly Crosby as she recovers from a tennis injury.
Just a hamstring injury. All the greats have them. Obviously Yelich dealing with one. Y'all read off the list. Serena Williams tore her hamstring, and I envision Molly out there playing tennis just
There you
like
go.
Serena.
Do you ever? It sounds like Yelly's is more of like an adductor.
Oh,
You,
okay.
you ever pull a side muscle? You ever deal with that with all the twisting you do as a kicker?
Definitely had some moments where it was there was some grabbing, some pain in that area, but just do whatever you can to just play through it. But this one she couldn't play through. Molly, it was intense hearing about the operation, but we don't have long on this segment, so I'm just going to say it. I mean, I'm done with this team. I'm done.
Wow.
I literally take a few days off the radio, and they haven't won a game since. I mean,
true. Maybe you're the jinx, bro.
What do I need to do? No, I just need to light that fire. They need to know this is not okay. Some of those throws. What was the throw Sanchez made?
Dude.
What's the throw to the home plate?
Seen.
Like, just bunt the ball against this team. Get the ball on the ground in front of them. They can't make any plays.
Yeah, they're a mess. That Sanchez play was like, I never want to play first base ever again. In
That
my
was
life.
maybe
It looked like my softball, my 8-year-old softball player, throwing it at their knees.
Yeah.
Like not trusting that someone can catch the ball with their glove.
Put Jocko at first base if they're going to do that.
Yeah,
Jeez.
exactly. Either of you two. I mean, y'all could have made both those plays.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is correct. In the 1 o'clock hour, we will talk a little more about our Milwaukee Brewers, but we will jump into the wide receiver room of the Green Bay Packers.
Let's do
Dontavian Wicks, now a Philadelphia Eagle officially, and we'll recap Master Sunday a little bit and just whatever else is on Mason's mind as we missed him for a few days, and he's back.
Yeah, I'm back. I'll get a little stretch here, so we'll see you at the 1 o'clock hour.
He's Mason Crosby. He's Tommy Wirtz. I'm Mitch Nellis. We are the Mason Crosby Show. This weather report is brought to you by Gravely Zero Turn Commercial Mowers. 74 and hazy right now, a little humid in Hales Corners, but we do have some severe storms likely tonight. Thunderstorms possible after 7 o'clock. You heard the weather last night. Could be back tonight. So everybody batten down the hatches.
A Super Bowl champion.
The Green Bay Packers have won the Super Bowl.
The Packers' all-time leading scorer.
A game winner for Mason Crosby.
It's time for the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nellis on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook and on the free Odyssey app.
This is the Mason Crosby Show. I'm Mitch Nellis. He's Tommy Wirtz, and he is Mason Crosby. I'm Mason Crosby.
That is still my name. Yeah.
What's going on, dude?
Not much. You know, we're in hour number 2.
Yeah.
But it is not 2. It is 1 o'clock, and we are. I'm watching some soccer on TV.
What are you watching? What soccer's on right now?
I don't know. It looks like England versus Spain. But this is the women's. Liverpool plays Champions League here in about an hour, so that'll be perfect.
Okay. All right. Nice.
Little PSG. I can see Tommy being a PSG fan.
Yeah, he probably is. Are you into the NBA play-in games at all? Like those 9 versus 10, 7 versus 8, like all the things going on?
Just to be honest, no. Unless the Bucks were playing in it, I probably won't. Yeah, I won't be heavily invested in that. So, like, I wait for once we actually hit into the playoffs, right? Like
the best of 7 series.
Yeah. How I feel like NCAA tournament. I'm like, just put people in. Like, I don't want. Like,
I agree with that, but it is kind of fun to watch a one and done though.
That's
like
true.
This game is like it's immediately to game 7. Like we just fast forward right away. Mason, we were remiss earlier. I know we talked a little bit about Christian Yelich, but every Tuesday at 1 o'clock, it's Paul Wagner time. So let's talk some Brewers baseball. What do you say?
Let's do it.
All right. Joining us now on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law, One Call, That's All, our good friend of show, Mr. Major League Pitcher, Paul Wagner. How you doing, Wags?
Good afternoon, boys. I'm doing all right. The tornadoes up in my neck of the woods didn't take me away.
That's good to hear. Yeah, we had some warnings last night. I know there were a number of sirens going off throughout the area all over the state. I got woken up by the sirens last night around 1:50 or so, 2 o'clock. I'm not exactly sure what time it was. Mason, you guys get tornadoes down there in Tennessee sometimes, right?
We do, yeah. So we're fortunate enough. Yeah, Molly was like, we got to have a basement. I know there's tornadoes, all that. So we fortunately have a basement space whenever that gets nasty and the kids can hide out. But our good buddy Rob Hall sent me a picture of Oneida Country Club there in Green Bay.
Oh,
and
my
it
gosh.
Is underwater.
Oh,
Duck Creek. Yeah, Duck Creek is flooded up. So I feel like this happens like every couple years where, just this time of year, some crazy storm comes through and everything gets out of whack.
Well, there's another one coming tonight, right, Wags? Like we're not done yet.
Good thing I put on a couple extra LBs since I retired because the skinny people blow away, I think.
I love that. That's
right.
awesome. So Paul, I feel like the last time we talked to you, the Brewers were like 8-2 and the best team in baseball. And now they're the worst team in baseball. Why is baseball such a fickle fiend?
Man, it is a crazy game. I think the biggest thing that I always say to people is everybody's good. I'm not taking anything away from NFL, NBA, hockey, NHL. Everybody's good. Obviously you get to that level, but in baseball seems to be the sport where I think maybe you guys can disagree with me. One person really can't necessarily take control of the game. I mean, there is a Shohei Ohtani, a Paul Skeens when he's on the mound, the Albert Pujols and the Barry Bonds back in the day could take advantage of it. But again, you take a look at a hitter in baseball, maybe 4 at-bats. There's still 8 other guys in that lineup that got 4 at-bats. You know what? There's a pitcher, and a pitcher can't pitch the whole game. I think baseball is just across the board seems to be, again, I'm not minimizing anything else, but it just seems it's very equal. There's a lot of equal play, and we always look for that. We look for equal play among everybody. We want to see competitiveness. We want to see quality. I think baseball has that, and with ups and downs in a 162 game schedule, the Brewers were lucky last year. I think the Brewers had 3 10-plus game winning streaks. That doesn't happen very often.
So you're not worried about this team yet here, Paul. You feel like this is just a little bump in the road, a little blip on the radar. You mentioned Ohtani. I was kind of laughing to myself. I'm like, he might be the only player in the MLB right now that could single-handedly win a game for his team. Like he could go and pitch a no-hitter and then hit 4 home runs and win 4-0. So he could single-handedly actually win a game.
Yeah, as I said his name, I'm like, you know what? That's probably the one guy. You're right, 100%.
But you have to depend on everybody. I feel like baseball adds on itself, right? It's like, all right, if bats start getting hot, guys get on base and somebody cranks a homer or brings some runs in, and then your pitching has to complement that. Everything kind of has to really play complementary. And it felt like in these last few games, this Brewers team just stopped playing complementary baseball. It was like Nationals, got them with a few bunts, and they weren't fielding great, weren't making some of the simple plays. Throughout the course of a season, you hope you get those out of your system, and then some of that gets cleaned up here in the next month or two.
Yeah, exactly. You want to clean it up, but I think we got kind of spoiled because I think in years past when, just let's take Sunday's game. I was down there for Sunday's game. Gary Sanchez hits the 3-run home run. It seems like, okay, boom, now the Brewers tie the game. We're going to win. That's what happens. That's just Brewer baseball. You battle, you stay around long enough, you use all 27 outs, you come back, you get the big home run, Yelich goes down, Sanchez steps in, bops a homer, 3-run homer, boom, now the Brewers are going to win. And it just didn't happen. And you're kind of looking at yourself like, wait a minute, that's not Milwaukee Brewer baseball, but that's baseball. That's how the baseball rolls.
What do you feel like with Yelich out for, it sounds like maybe a month is kind of what they're expecting with how good he's been to start this season? I mean, do you see them kind of struggling in this stretch, or do you think they're going to find a way to overcome without Yelich's bat there in the lineup?
Well, yeah, good question, but they're going to have to. They're going to have to figure it out.
It's a necessity, right?
They're pressed. They have to figure it out. And going down there on Sunday, and it didn't sound like Jackson Churio was even taking batting practice yet. I don't know if he was swinging a bat or they're just not saying it out loud, or maybe he went down in the tunnel and he was hitting, but it looked like he's a little bit of ways away too. So again, you're dealt with blows that, you don't like to learn how to play without, but this Milwaukee Brewer team is going to have to. They got to figure something out, and guys have to step up and continue to do things the right way.
Who have you been most impressed with to start this season? Who's kind of that guy that maybe you weren't expecting or you were unsure, and they've impressed you so far?
Maybe it might not look number-wise, but just watching the game, this is pretty much my first-hand time, really there. And the guy that really impresses me is Jake Bauers. This kid, I know he's not hitting 300. He doesn't have 20 home runs. This kid is one of those guys that I believe can hurt you, and we can put him in the game at any time, and he's got stupid power. He's got an idea at the plate. He can play first base. We can move him around. I think I just like him. I like the way he plays the game. I'm glad he's gotten the chance and the opportunity to play. I believe he was the one we got from the Yankees. There was a DFA.
Yep.
They designated him, then they brought him back, and I'm really glad they ended up doing that the last couple of years. I really like him. The pitching wise, Harrison didn't pitch too very well the other night, but I really like some of these young pitchers. And if Brandon Woodruff can continue to fool people, Brandon Woodruff does not have the stuff he used to have, and he knows that. That's the biggest thing. When a guy goes through an injury and comes back and rejuvenates and reinvents himself, he has to realize first and foremost that he is not the same pitcher. And it looks like Brandon Woodruff has, and that's the biggest hurdle for him.
What were you shocked at all with the last outing though, Paul, where he only threw 70 pitches
and didn't come back in? Is that what you meant, Tommy?
Yes.
Yeah. I think that's is that what you're talking about? Maybe?
Right. No, yeah. I'm just wondering, like, he threw 70 pitches, was cruising at the end of it, and then
at the end of 6, and he did not come back out for the 7th. Uribe came out, and it seemed like Woody probably could have kept going.
That's the monitoring that him, Chris Hook, Henderson, and even Pat Murphy, they all get together and they realize for Brandon Woodruff, I don't necessarily think, coming off the shoulder injury, I don't think it's necessarily a pitch count. I think it's an up down early in the season. You know, it's easy to throw 17 pitches in an inning or 23 pitches in an inning. Really, it doesn't matter. It doesn't how many. The problem is when I get my third out and I sit down. And then do we have a long inning? Do we score some runs? Did something happen? Was there a couple challenges? And then I have to heat back up again the next inning. And that shoulder strain doesn't necessarily take place of the workload number-wise. It's how many times it gets hot, it cools down, it heats up and cools down. And I think those ups and downs, the 5 or 6 ups and downs for Brandon Woodruff is probably right now early in the season the max, regardless of the pitch count.
Paul Wagner joining us here on the Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law. In 2 of the 3 games against the Nationals, the Brewers led 3-2 in the 7th inning and weren't able to win either of those games. The bullpen has not been nearly as effective as it was last year. Guys we've relied on not throwing the same stuff that they've thrown in the past. How concerned are you about the bullpen 15 games in?
It is. It's a work. It isn't. You're right. It's not lights out like it used to be. We expected, we expected everybody to come in, do their job, and shut them down. We expected the bullpen to have a 0 ERA. It just doesn't happen. They're going to figure it out. And the part about maybe not necessarily being as successful as this bullpen wants to be, Pat Murphy and the coaching staff are figuring it out where they are. So you will see you will see better situations, individuals he will put them in the situations where they can succeed. He's learning them. They have to succeed. But, before it was almost you'd pick anybody out of the bullpen, throw them in, and they'd throw zeros up. I think now Pat Murphy has got to learn a little bit more about who and what he has out there in that bullpen, and then he's going to put them in. I have no doubt that he will figure it out, and they will be put in spots where they will succeed, and you'll see this bullpen turn around.
Paul, you were talking about shoulder stuff. Like what? My wife is down with a hamstring injury. She had surgery last week. What was the most significant injury you had playing in your playing days?
Yeah, I did. I had pretty much the whole thing. I tell my guys when we get the players coming into Lake Country, there's pretty much nothing that I haven't been through, both being released, fired, traded, injured. I had Tommy John surgery. I had Tommy John surgery in the late 90s. I came back from that. And then in New York in the early 2000s, 2001, I believe it was, right around then, I tore the labrum and I had like 180 in the rotator and labrum tears.
Gosh.
And that's tough. That's tough because I was never – I know the secret. It's not a secret and everybody knows, but I wasn't a very good pitcher. I just threw the ball hard. And when I got hurt, someone goes, okay, now you're a pitcher. I go, I never was a pitcher. I just threw the ball as hard as I could.
Awesome.
And when you got to learn how to pitch, because that shoulder surgery, man, that shoulder – that'll knock you out, man. That's a tough one, and it's hard to come back from that. But, yeah, I had them all. I had everything.
Well, that's an unfortunate perspective to have, but it's a good one that you have for guys like Brandon Woodruff and guys
Right.
going through it, that you can kind of relate and understand what they're going through and give that, kind of give that insider knowledge of what it takes coming back from something like that.
I think that's important. And I think organizations have adapted to that, where you don't just have a therapist or a doctor or somebody who's in the training room or the training facility telling you how you feel and what you need to do. You need people. And I think organizations are doing that. They're having more on hands with guys that have gone through the surgery, did the rehab. Rehabs now for Tommy John are going 14 to 16 months. If I'm correct, I blew out. I had surgery, Dr. Andrews down in Birmingham, Alabama, and I was back on a big league mound in less than 12 months.
Jeez.
And it was quick. I mean, I was back fast. Now they have time, and they have people telling you what to do, people that have gone through it, experienced it, what the setbacks are, and what to look forward to or to be cautious of, because that scar tissue builds up in your elbow. That sucker pops. And when that scar tissue pops, you think you just blew out your elbow again. And you're like, no way in hell am I going to do another 12 months of rehab. But it's scar tissue. It's something that it freaks the heck out of people, and you're not knowing what it is. So I think that's what organizations are doing now. Now you have guys, like you just said, guys that have been through it and can kind of walk these new kids through it.
That's crazy. Yeah. So we got Paul Wagner joining the Mason Crosby show. We're talking about our Brewers. They play the Blue Jays here now. They're going into this series. Blue Jays aren't lighting the world on fire right now at 6-9.
They've got their own injuries that they're dealing with as well.
Yeah. How do you think this Brewers team matches up? What do you expect from this series?
I like this is especially with the young kid on the mound tonight. I think Gossman's going for them, and he's good. I mean, he's obviously good, and he's doing well this year. But I think this might be what the Milwaukee Brewers need. You take that Washington National Series, you push that behind, you forget about it. You took the day off yesterday, you come into the ballpark today, and we've all known this as players. It's day to day. You don't worry about what happened in the past because you can't change it. You kind of rip that rear view mirror off, and you kind of always look forward. And with the injuries that Toronto has, I mean, I think the latest one is Kirk, the little catcher broke his thumb. So, what they're going to do and how they're going to, I think there's no Springer. They're hurting. This is a time for the Milwaukee Brewers to say, okay, forget the National Series. Let's go right now and take on the Blue Jays, and let's get right back into the thick of things and catch up to everybody in the Central.
Yeah, baseball is a totally different, animal. I mean, playing football, it was like, all right, you had Monday and Tuesday. You evaluated the past game. You kind of, corrected and figured out what happened in that game. And then you shift focus and you start moving forward on Wednesday. And then you have 5 days until you play another game, right? Like baseball is literally, you might have a day off occasionally, but you're just rolling one game to the next. And you have to have that mindset of shift that focus right away. Who cares what happened in the past? We got to move on to this next one.
Right, exactly. This game, baseball being so quick and right at you, you have to have a short-term memory, because if you're thinking about yesterday's at bat, you're going to fail in today's at bat.
I love that.
That's how it works, right? That's how it works. You got to just have that memory of the goldfish.
That's right.
Yep.
Nice. Wags, anything else going on? Anything exciting going on? Any good new drinks you've discovered over the past couple of weeks?
Well, no, I haven't discovered any new ones, but as long as it's got alcohol in it, sometimes it always does good for me. But we got the baseball season starting. Our Lake Country Dachshunds, a lot of the big leaguer guys are opting out of their contracts. Some of the minor leaguers, obviously those minor league seasons have started. They're about 5-6 games into their season, so there's a lot of talent out there for the Lake Country Dachshunds in this independent baseball, which we'll get into some other day about how valuable it is to Major League Baseball and to organizations, especially the Milwaukee Brewers. But we got some kids rolling in right now. They have host families, and we're going to get ready to start. Opening day is May 15th, and we got a 100-game schedule, and hopefully the guys that start with me don't end with me, because if they start with me and they don't end with me, that means they went somewhere else, and hopefully an affiliated team takes them and we can see them at Miller Park or AmFam Field.
Nice. Love that. Paul, thank you so much for jumping on today. And every Tuesday, 1:00, Paul Wagner joining us to talk some ball. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you next week.
Awesome, boys. Be careful and be safe.
Absolutely. Yep, Paul Wagner joining us on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Mesa, the thing that the Brewers will have to contend with is with Churiel and Vaughn already hurt, and now with Yelich, it was all the righties that were hurt, and now Yelich, a lefty's hurt. There's a lot of pop out of the lineup.
Yeah,
they got to figure a way to manufacture runs. Like, it's great that Mizorowski's pitching the way he is, Chad Patrick's pitching the way he is, Woody's pitching the way he is, but they got to score some runs, and that's what I think we're all kind of worried about right now.
Yeah, I mean, and again, you got to hold on, try to stay around that 500.
Does
maybe
Tommy
a few
know he's
over.
on camera, by the way? I just love the phase. Like,
he's just pondering life. He's
just
trying to think
picking
of the
his
next thing he's
nose.
going to do for the station.
Yep,
Like, what's his next
show
that he's going to put on?
I'm always plotting, man.
Yeah, he is.
Yep.
But yeah, I think they just need to stay in touch with this record and not let it get out of bounds.
Right.
And then you get Churio back, you get Vaughn back, you get some of these pieces back in place. I'm trying to remember last year. Y'all tried to. I'm obviously a knee jerk baseball fan, but we don't really think about it until let's go Memorial Day, right? And then it's like, all right, if we have some pieces in place, and then you go 4th of July, and it's like, all right. Like, I can be realistic there, but I do think they need to stay in touch. You can't let this thing kind of spiral a certain direction where now you're clawing your way back as these guys get healthy.
It is the longest losing streak in Pat Murphy's manager tenure.
Yeah. They have not lost as many since 23, and it's by the way, it is Mason. It is Milwaukee County Day, 414.
Perfect.
So
there you go.
But that I think that's still too early to look at the record.
Some people are saying that the Wisco jerseys, they got to go.
0-3 in the Wisco jerseys.
Yeah, those are done.
Well, Wisco's not a thing, so that's probably why. He's Mason Crosby. He's Tommy Wirtz. I'm Mitch Nelson, a.k.a. Thunder. Dontavian Wicks is a Philadelphia Eagle. We will look at the wide receiver room when we come back. This is the Mason Crosby Show. This is the Mason Crosby Show. I'm Mitch Nellis. He's Tommy Wirtz, and Mason Crosby is here. Mason, any updates over the last hour? Have you, this is your first show back, so have you gotten like the bat signal? Any ringing the bell with like have?
How about the second Dr. Andrews reference in
I
Birmingham?
know, right?
Yeah. That was crazy from Paul.
Yeah, like
is that so yeah.
The best in the country. I mean, they have a specialized like network of they do like each doctor does one thing like extremely well, specializes in it. And so we went to Dr. Emblem, who does all the hip and hammy and like lower. Yeah.
So, and I told you, Mace, my Mrs. Thunder's uncle used to work in that clinic too. Like he did. I don't know what he did. They
did great work.
I don't know if he did shoulders or he had a specialty, and he's retired now, but he's got all sorts of like signed stuff.
Oh man, the people. I mean,
like
I saw
basement is like crazy.
Clinton Dix, Eddie Lacy.
Oh, it's all the Bama stuff.
It's
That's
every Bama guy ever.
Yeah, it totally is. This is the Mason Crosby Show. Great to have Mason back. We're going to talk Packers wide receiver room in just a second, but joining us now, Ken is in the Falls on the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line 414-677-1250. Ken, welcome to the Mason Crosby Show.
Well, thanks for having me on, guys. Fabulous day here in Wisconsin. Yeah, we got some storms coming in, but that's part of spring, just like the Brewers here with baseball.
There's nothing like old guys talking about the weather.
That's right.
That's the best.
Well, see, when you're
convince me, Ken, that this Brewers team is just not going down the tank right now. I need some positive energy here.
Oh boy.
Well, I'm going to give you some positive energy, but first, talking about old guys, if you're a hunter and a fisherman, and Mason, you know what I'm talking about, the weather's the most important thing. And people, if you want to catch some walleye, get on the Wolf River because they're biting like crazy.
Do that.
All right. Now, in terms of the Brewers, here's the big thing. You don't start gauging these teams, especially a team like Milwaukee, till about 60 games in. So once we get around Memorial Day, that'll be a good indication of where this team is going to go. Last year, if you look at their start and how they came out of the blocks, it just wasn't that great. They had all kinds of issues. We were talking about these crazy torpedo bats and But with that being said, you got Murph and you got Arnold, and those guys work hand in glove. So they're going to make the changes necessary until we get our horses back. And once we get our horses back and they add on, and these other guys are going to have great opportunities now to prove themselves that are in the lineup. So it's going to give them more to look at as we continue on. As far as the bullpen goes, Paulie, he had some great comments there in terms of what's happening there. Between Chris Hook and Murph, again, they're working on things all the time to put guys in the right spots so that they start to get their groove. This lineup in terms of offense and where guys are going to be, they're doing the same thing. So this is a work in progress. And it's not just for the Brewers. Now granted, LA looks like they're starting to really move forward, but they're going to falter as well. Don't kid yourselves. And the Brewers are still going to be in that 99 plus win.
99 plus win. Let's go.
There it is. That's what I needed, Ken.
They're going to do it, boys. It just settle down. It's a long season. It's a season of attrition.
Settle down, Mason.
I'm never going to settle down when it comes to Brewers baseball.
Mace, it's one of those things where here's what I tell you. As summer progresses, you get yourself a nice ice cold beer for about 65, 70 days as you're just relaxing, grilling, and listening to Brewer baseball, and you'll see the progression is going to happen slowly but surely.
Let's go. Thanks for the call, Ken. I love it. Yeah, he's just trying to put your mind at ease, Mason.
And I agree. And I'm excited about, just to see what some moves they might make. Because wasn't it after Memorial Day where they added Vaughn, they brought in, some pieces that ended up helping
July
this team down the line.
Vaughn. That was when he made his big league.
They did not wait. Right. They did not wait for the trade deadline.
Yeah.
They acted before that.
Feels like their best trades are always not around the trade deadline,
right?
Too. I mean, going back to Sabathia, right? Was
they do it. They do it. Yeah,
when they act
a month early, they do pretty well. Speaking of putting your mind at ease, I don't know if this puts your mind at ease, Mason, or if it gets things storm brewing. But the Green Bay Packers have acquired a 2026 fifth-round pick and a 2027 sixth-round pick from the Philadelphia Eagles in exchange for wide receiver Dontavian Wicks. It was announced on Monday. Dontavian Wicks no longer a Green Bay Packer. The wide receiver room is Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, Matthew Golden, Savion Williams, obviously Tucker Kraft in his return from injury, a big part of that.
Sky Moore.
Sure. I
mean, I've been hearing rumbling. It's like, don't just expect him to only be a returner.
I'm expecting until proven otherwise. I'm expecting just a return man. What do you think about this deal? And what was your reaction to it when you saw that?
I mean, you got to think it's a win-win for the Packers and for Wicks, right? Like, he goes to a team that is looking for a few more pieces in that wide receiver room. He gets a little bit. He gets a pay bump. He gets the $12 million contract, and the Packers get a 5th round and another pick back for him, right? So you get him in like a couple years ago for a 5th round pick, and you get that pick back. I feel like with how that room is forming, it's a guy that was, had sparks of really great things, but just was never Jordan's guy, right? Like, I don't think it was the guy that he looked at whenever crunch time was there. The guy that he was depending on to make big plays and big catches all the time. I saw our good buddy Ben Kurt did a little highlight thing of just routes of Dontavian Wicks, and I'd agree with Kurt on this. Like, he's a great route runner. He did some really good things, ran some routes, but most of the things that Kurt showed on his highlight was Dontavian Wicks running routes and not getting targets, right? So it's like he separated, ran good routes, but he was not the target for Jordan Love. And
why?
So after a few years, if that's just not a relationship and not a guy that like Jordan Love leans into to be there, then you're like, well, that's not a piece that is going to, help us win moving forward. Let's see what we can get out of it. And I think they got a fair price for a guy like Dontavian Wicks.
So now
that's what I thought as well.
Do they have to rock with this wide receiver room, or then draft day you're looking at wide receiver?
You're going to draft a wide receiver.
What about Marvin Harrison Jr. rumors? Anyone a fan of those?
No. There's a lot of free agents out there still.
You say no, Crosby?
He said no.
I'd rather, how I feel. I'd rather go get Dexter Lawrence from the Giants if you're going to make any kind of big trade right now.
But I also think you can probably give up a whole lot less to get Marvin Harrison. I don't think you got to give up a first-round pick.
You think so? You think that the Cardinals would give up?
I think they can Marvin give up their second-round pick this year, the Packers, and they could work a package with that being the big draw. I think to Marvin Harrison.
If you could get Marvin Harrison Jr. for a second-round,
you're getting
draft
Marvin
pick.
Harrison Jr. Like, I just don't think they're going to make that move. They made the big deal. They drafted Golden last year. They got to pay
how many
Watson
more years? Marvin
point.
Harrison Jr. has
two more years plus his option.
It just doesn't seem like a Packer thing to do. There's so many other needs.
But it would then
it would free them up. It would give them it fits in timing wise where you're going to have to make a decision on Watson and Reed.
Yep.
And then he kind of has that stopgap, in that situation where he could be there for a couple of years.
I don't like that at all.
I just don't see him getting him for a second round draft.
Their only 2 wide receivers under contract after this season are Golden and Williams. The Packers. So again, like you said, to your point, Mason, they would get 2 years and a choice on Marvin Harrison. He's been underwhelming in the NFL so far as far as the can't miss prospect that he was hyped up
he
to
can't
be.
Catch anything.
Well, I'm saying he's kind of a Christian Watson-esque type of player, build the same way, speed guy, go out, run up and get it. And Christian Watson, if they have to make a decision between Christian Watson and Tucker Kraft on who to pay, it's Tucker Kraft 99 times out of 100.
So you think? Do you think they let Jaden Reed and Christian Watson walk next year?
They probably can get
Jaden Reed
on one of them. They can get Jaden Reed on a much more team-friendly deal, you would think, being a slot guy, and then he can stay in the slot as well. You can still line up Matthew Golden on the outside and Marvin Harrison on the outside.
I don't know. I see your thought process there. I don't see the Packers making that move unless the Cardinals were willing to do something crazy.
Am I wrong that I want Juwan Jennings?
No, he's fun in San Francisco.
We could see. Here's what we could see: post draft, you could see maybe a veteran like that, like somebody get signed. Just to see how they do through camp. Where
Jahan
it's like
Dotson's available, Curtis Samuel's available. Like, not great guys, but guys who can play NFL football.
Curtis Samuel screams a Packer. I could see a move like that. Just getting some guy
we've brought in guys. I remember us bringing in some of those guys that had sparks of greatness in the league. And you bring him in through the spring, through training camp, and it's like just didn't get it done. I don't know. It just didn't work out there.
Oh yeah, it's an off-season signing that doesn't make the team.
I'm not
screen,
asking for Stephon Diggs. I'm not asking for Deebo Samuel. Although to me, Deebo Samuel is interesting, but I don't think they would go in that direction. I'm not asking for DeAndre Hopkins, like guys who are older. But Jawan Jennings at 28, Jahan Dotson at 26, like that can like.
How does Jawan Jennings not have a contract? That is crazy.
The Niners don't want him back for whatever reason. They just want a split from their entire wide receiver room. Like they didn't want Samuel, they didn't want Ayuk, they didn't want Jennings. They just wanted to give it. Ricky Pearsall is going to catch 170 balls this year.
Do you think is Jennings is he a cancer? I mean, is he a guy that's not going to like kind of mesh in what the Green Bay culture is?
No, I think he's okay.
Didn't he have some? I thought he had some issues.
Did he have some stuff? He might have.
I think he just has different colored hair, and that makes you think head case immediately.
Oh, wow.
Right there.
That's how I view things, Tommy. Yeah.
I have different colored hair.
Just saying that immediately.
I have no color whatsoever.
Looking at like Jalen Mills, like the same vibes going on.
So Mason, if they were to draft a wide receiver, do you think that's a day 2, or do you think they wait till day 3? Like, do they need somebody
third, fourth round?
Okay,
yeah,
so it could be the end of day 2, or into day. You don't think they'd go second round, do you?
I don't think so.
After going first and third last year,
I don't think you do unless something like a guy that like is high on your list just like slips into that spot. Like that'd be my only consideration. I see this text because I want to talk about this for a second. Okay. I know the Dexter Lawrence thing is on top of my mind, and
you're really into this.
The 715, like I don't know why you're not. Like I've talked about this. These big guys, a big guy that Dexter Lawrence like demanded the most double teams in the NFL for I think the whole time he's been in the league, especially like for sure last year. If you have a guy in that interior, think Aaron Donald, Sam Darnold, whatever.
Yep. Sure.
Think those types of guys where. If you have to decide, you're either double teaming Micah Parsons or you're double teaming the interior defensive lineman. Like one of those guys is going to get home. Like you bring someone like that in, this defense goes from, okay, we're hoping to be top 10 to one of the more dominant defensive fronts in the NFL. Maybe not the best right away, just on paper. And you go into this season, I think a Dexter Lawrence gives you a chance to go and chase a Super Bowl right away. And why with the draft capital we have and all the stuff for the next 2 years, why not send some draft picks off somewhere else to try to win a Super Bowl? We're talking about Titletown, USA. Like it's been too long since we brought a Super Bowl back to Green Bay, Wisconsin, back to the state of Wisconsin. It is time to do whatever it takes. They did it with Micah Parsons. That didn't work out last year right away. He gets hurt. They were moving. You bring in that piece, this defense is crazy set to go and just be dominant and allow this offense to do whatever it wants.
Well, and to your point, Mason, that if you have to give up your second and your third this year to give up a guy or a second and a third next year to get your guy Dexter Lawrence, like everyone's excited about the move that, that was very similar to what the Los Angeles Rams did. And then they found their way back into title contention pretty quickly too. It can also end up like the Milwaukee Bucks and you trade away all your picks. Now your superstar is not happy because your team's not good. Maybe the Packers never fall into anything like the Milwaukee Bucks would, but you are playing this game of it quite literally is championship, but your team sucks forever after scenario that could.
Like I just want to see my team being really solid. But I'm like, you have all these draft picks next year. Like why? Like if the Giants would give up, like in this from this text in the 715, trading for Dexter Lawrence will probably cost the Packers their second and third round pick. If that's all it costs, I would trade for Dexter Lawrence right now.
It sounds
I would do it.
Rumors out of New York today is that the Giants are thinking about that the Giants may not honor the trade request. That they're still planning on building around him. That's what Albert Breer is reporting on in New York today.
Okay, then it's moot, but I'm just saying, like,
but
a
not
second and
yet,
third
just,
round pick. In this year's draft where you like don't have your first
so you don't pick until the 4th round.
I don't care. Look
You
at the
you
LA
think
Rams.
the team's good enough?
I think they're close enough.
Okay.
That like you can go for it this year. Yeah. What stinks is that Dexter Lawrence gets hurt, something gets hurt, it doesn't work out. But like I say go for it. And then you just keep building on the on that back end. Like, what's to say a second and third round pick this year are going to be superstars,
are going to contribute,
and then
or
in
even
4
contribute
years,
at all, right?
In 4 years, they might go sign somewhere else, and then you're like, well, we didn't even like get anything from that.
Yep.
So I don't know. I'm in the mindset right now. Go chase a championship. I think they're in a 2-year window for sure here. That if they can just do a couple things, they can go and win championships.
Mason, you spent so much time in Green Bay, and you know that has not typically been the way that the Packers act. Do you think there's a chance that with policy there and with any pressure that Goody or LaFleur are feeling, like, do you think there's a chance, whether it's Sexy Dexy or whether it's somebody else, do you think they have an all-in moment beyond what they feel was an all-in moment with Parsons?
Well, here's the thing is like, I always thought that was fascinating when I was playing there, that people didn't think that we were going in to try to win championships.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about the moves that were made. I mean, sure, Woodson was a little older.
Yep.
Julius Peppers. Think about the impact Julius Peppers had on our team when you brought him in.
Yep.
I mean, that guy was a superstar in Green Bay. Just a huge impact. Drafted well, brought in some pieces, like found some things. Sure, we built a team around Aaron Rodgers and like brought that thing up, but I do think there were some pieces that were added that we knew were going to be successful. There was a time, right? You had Mark Tauscher, Chad Clifton, you brought in Brian Balaga through the draft, and you had Darren College on the, he was drafted, but that was in his 4th year when we won the Super Bowl. Like there were things intentionally built to go chase championships. People always said, oh, well, they're not going in to go get it. It's like, but we won a championship and we had other opportunities. We played in NFC. I played in 6 NFC championship games.
I know, but not enough Super Bowls.
But you can't say we didn't go in to go do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I do think this team right now, and kind of how the NFL is operating, there's sometimes a couple pieces that if you can leverage draft picks, like I say do it a little bit.
He's Mason Crosby. He's Tommy Wirtz. I'm Mitch Nellis. We've talked a lot about Mr. Mom. We've talked a lot about Molly's hamstring, but we're going to dive back in for Mason's extra points coming up next right here on the Mason Crosby Show.
Yeah, buddy.
What's on Mason Crosby's mind today?
Now I'm thinking.
It's time for Extra Points, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nellis.
Tell me what's on your mind.
On the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Oh, good to be back. Happy Tuesday. Hope everyone's staying safe there and throughout Wisconsin with all these storms, some of the flooding that I've seen, but hopefully better days are ahead and nice weather's coming. And golf season, it probably just got pushed back a couple weeks. This was probably the hardest time of the year for me whenever I was there full time was mid-April, and you're like right on the verge of getting out on that golf course, and then flood or some crazy thing happens and it pushes it out 2 weeks. So, but I'm in the middle of softball season, and so Mitch, I'm going to throw this at you.
Please do.
Got my twins playing a game tonight.
Yep.
We got 3 games this week.
Yep.
We are on the verge of winning.
Okay.
We've had 2 really tight games. You know how it goes. Literally full count, last pitch for this one girl, bases loaded. The coach, it's coach pitch. He throws this ball high outside.
Yes.
And she has to swing, and she somehow reaches it and hits a dinger
Oh,
out into the outfield.
Crazy.
We were leading, I think we were leading 6-4. And they get runs in, and we lose that game.
Brutal.
So we're right on the verge. We had practice on Sunday, and I did a little tough love. I'm like, because some of these girls, I'm like, we're playing sports. It's okay to try hard, because some of these young girls, they're just like, it's hot.
They're just goofing around.
Yeah, and
have you used my line at all? It's not TikTok o'clock. It's softball o'clock.
I like that. No, but yeah, maybe they'll appreciate
if they're dancing in the outfield.
But I let them pitch to me, and I cranked one over the fence, and then made them chase me around the bases.
Don't kill anyone, Mason.
I did,
because you hit a line drive back at an 8-year-old.
It was a smoothie. It was
All right.
smoothie.
Okay,
Yeah,
good,
I was
good,
just
good.
I was making sure to send.
Some people are asking why you're so good at coaching boys but not girls in sports right now. Some people are wondering.
I feel like
coming strong, Tommy.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like the. I have a hard time with some of the attitude stuff, but I have 4 daughters. I'm used to it, and I'm just we're working it. We're getting there.
All right.
So I think we're on the verge, and a lot of these girls now have coached 2 sports, and we're starting to get this thing figured out.
You're like undefeated football for Nolan, and you can't win a game for any
Or basketball or softball.
I know.
Let's get it done, coach. Get it done.
I'm working on it, guys. I just got to get better. All right, thank you. I needed that. Coach needs to be better.
Let's go.
All right, guys. Well, hey, we're going to do it again tomorrow. I'm running all 4 days, so join us again Wednesday through Friday. We start at high noon. Awesome one today, boys.
Yep. We got a leadoff show with Tommy coming up later today.
Of course.
And Sparky's coming up next, and let's get after it. He's Mason Crosby. He's Tommy Wirtz. I'm Mitch Nellis. We're the Mason Crosby Show.
Yes, we are.